But when it comes to chronic pain, please know that it's usually tied into more than one system of the body. And in this video, I'm going to discuss just that. I'm going to discuss the why, the big why, and give you a bigger picture and understanding so you can implement that into your self-care routine, into your recovery practice, because chronic pain has been persistent for a long time, and understanding the mechanisms of it will help you form a game plan that will support you moving forward as you come out of chronic pain. Biggest things that I've noticed when it comes to releasing chronic holding patterns in the body is the fact that it is tied into subconscious holding patterns of stress. This is very, very, very crucial. Your body is in these emotional patterns of stress. Your body will freeze to maintain some type of internal homeostasis in helping you regulate those big emotions. It almost acts as a brace. So when you start to heal your muscles, what happens is you can have a lot of different experiences. Some of you may have just a physical experience where you release one pair of muscles and then you notice a domino effect, which can come off as a negative thing. But you have to understand, when your body has been bracing itself, there has been an opposite or a couple of different muscles that have not been activated. So when you are releasing those muscles, not only are you releasing a crap ton of lactic acid, your muscles are tired, especially if you've been holding that position for X amount of years. I have experienced this multiple times on my healing journey, and that has come about for a number of different reasons. But when you start to address chronic stress, chronic holding patterns, and chronic tension, what's going to happen is once you release those muscles, they will then be able to relax. Once they relax, they release lactic acid, which is pushed out into your system, which can make you feel sore for a few days. You also have to consider that that muscle is simply tired. So it may need a few extra days of rest and recovery once you have released that muscle. And the other thing that can happen is once that muscle has released and it starts to lengthen, you have to realize that that will shift your entire body composition, specifically when it comes to the muscles. So you might have to reprogram your entire body. Some of you not so much, but what I have found, especially when it comes to big muscles like the psoas, which many people in our society have a very tight psoas for a number of different reasons, which can be repetition of movement, sedentary lifestyles of sitting, and emotional stress and physical traumas. All four of these can put your body into a state of fight or flight, or if it's not fight or flight, it's just a constant holding. And your body's meant to move for a reason. Once you are sedentary for over 45 minutes, your mind and body start to disconnect. And when your body is tired and your mind overrides that, you will start to dim down the signals that your body has naturally put in place to notify you, oh, I'm getting a little tired. Let's move. Let's shift. Let's do this. Let's do that. But what I have noticed is due to the society that we live in and at such an early age, starting in school, children are encouraged, or I don't want to say forced, but due to the school systems that we have, children have to sit for longer hours. They have to sit still. And if they don't sit still, they tend to get in trouble. Now, I understand that there are recesses and there's a lunch, but really, every 45 minutes, you should be getting up and moving. And this doesn't just pertain to kids, it also pertains to adults. And if you look at a lot of adults and a lot of the lifestyles that adults have, they do not move every 45 minutes. They will sit and be sedentary and then maybe get some form of exercise in, maybe once a day, when in fact we need to be getting up and moving multiple times throughout the day. And the ratio that was shared with me through my Eastern medicine class when I was attending San Francisco State University was every 45 minutes, you get up, move, and stretch for about 5 minutes. I personally have found that 15 minutes is a nice break. I do understand that this isn't feasible at all times, but when you can, give yourself that 15-minute break every 2 hours at least. And this can be a really big shift, especially when it comes to current cultural designs, especially in schools and in the workplaces. This is something that I would love to have shift, because when your physical body is sitting, it will put stress on that psoas muscle, creating improper balance in the lower back. And a lot of people have low back tension. They have poor hip muscle and poor hip flexion, which creates an imbalance in the body. And when you have an imbalance, other muscles will come to your aid so you can stay focused, so you can stay harmonized as much as possible. Your body is geared to create homeostasis, even if that homeostasis is warped and not true. I will never forget when I went to a chiropractor and they shifted my body to what was straight. I felt crooked because my body had adjusted to the warped perception that supported my physical body in functioning. And as I went through my healing journey, I found it was really necessary to have a consistent practice of releasing my muscles and strengthening them versus only strengthening. And this is very crucial, especially if you are someone who is releasing chronic holding patterns. When you release the chronic holding patterns, you want to give yourself a period of rest and then a period of physical rebuilding. And when you rebuild, you want to make sure that you are rebuilding your body from the ground up. And this is where it becomes really humbling, because when you are rebuilding your body, what you are doing is you are completely needing to override the mechanics that have become second nature, anatomical in a way. So that forces you to be mentally present. And when people have to be that mentally present, they come into contact with a lot of stored emotions because they're finally getting present with their body. And emotional stress is something that our society has really pushed to the side for a number of different reasons. And I feel that we live in a time and space where we actually have enough resources and enough time and enough space to be present with our bodies. What that requires is a choice. It requires a choice of, am I going to put my healing and meditation first and my recovery practices versus overbooking myself with events? Do I need to put more boundaries down with work? Do I need to ask help for my family to give me space so I can heal, so I can do this stuff? Because working out is great, but if you are only doing working out and you're not having some form of self-care that resets your body's nervous system, what happens is your muscles will just retract and go back into those chronic holding patterns. Most chronic holding patterns are tied into emotional stress. Not always, but they can be. And when it comes to emotions, that is very deeply rooted in a number of different systems, not just the physical. The physical, to me, is the gateway into the energetic. And the energetic systems of the body are made up of and comprised of 3 different systems. The first one is the meridian system. And the meridian system is comprised of many different acupuncture points that filter through your muscular system. There are a few different ways in which people utilize traditional Chinese medicine. Some do it through herbs, some do it through acupuncture. I myself utilize magnet pair therapy healing frequencies. And this is just the first system. This is the closest to the physical experience. And when your meridian system is out of balance, it will start to take energy from different meridians, which are tied into different organs. So this then starts to create a dysregulation within that body. And when I was massaging, the interesting thing that I found was most of people's pain points were actually tied into energetic blockages, specifically tied to the meridians or the chakras. And the chakras is the second energetic system that makes up our whole physical experience, or should I say energetic experience. I think everything is a physical experience because we are sensing the world through our five organs. But because the energetic systems are not widely talked about or considered, they are excluded from this overall human experience that we have. But everything in essence is energetic. And the chakras actually connect into different plexuses within your body, which tie into your hormones. And if these are thrown out of balance, your hormones will be thrown out of balance. And also these electrical bundles of nerves will not be firing off at their highest capacity, which in turn will dim your life force. And the chakra system is far greater and more diverse than just these 7 chakras that are widely talked about and discussed. The chakra system is comprised of thousands of nadis, NADIS. And these are basically energetic centers that fuel your human experience. Many people only know of the major 7 because this is what is shared widely in the mainstream social media platforms today. But what I have found on my healing journey, as well as working on clients for over a decade, is they are the center point, but there are many other chakras that support those major 7. And I've also found that those major 7 are actually a part of a bigger chakra system. There are different healers, gurus that share different systems, and you can find those on the internet. And what I have found is on my journey, there are 2 different systems. One that connects into the feminine energy system and one that connects into the masculine. And there is an entire process of bringing these 2 into balance. Because we live in a world of duality, what happens is when those energy systems are at odds with each other, they can affect your physical experience. It's almost like having 2 energies or 2 people inhabiting your body, but are constantly fighting with each other. And if your body's constantly fighting with itself, it will be expressed in one way or another. And how it was expressed physically was one side tend to be tighter than the other, or one side tend to be looser. Every person was different. And it was interesting to see how these energy systems would dance and work in connection with each other. The meridians and the chakras were things that would come up a lot during the sessions, but there was also a third energy system that would arise during some of my sessions as well. And the third one is the auric field. And the auric field is what extends out past your body, is the first thing that comes into contact with the world around you. And it is really, in essence, what electrically connects us to the greater whole. So the meridians connect into the chakras connect into the auric field. And if you have any type of energetic blockages, that will ripple down into your physical experience and can really create a lot of havoc on your body depending on the severity of the blockages within those systems. And I have been studying different modalities to find an answer on how to incorporate all of these energetic systems under one roof. And what I found was energy healing truly was the jumping off point. Energy healing in conjunction and combination with magnet pair therapy. Over the last 5 years, I have been studying ways to provide people with an energy healing system or routine that can help release chronic stress from the body. Because when I was only working on the physical, what I found is you could dig, do deep tissue, and do all this physical work on your body. But I found my muscles would retract right back to their holding patterns. And I kept asking why. Because I myself was doing physical routines every single day, and I wasn't seeing much of a gain to where I thought I would be. And what I found was a lot of those energetic blockages were actually tied into emotions. And those emotions were intertwined and they weaved in between the meridians, the chakras, and the auric field. And in releasing these, starting from the outside, moving in, would take off that energetic density and then allow my physical body to really start to move with greater consciousness, greater awareness. And it allowed me that energy healing practice that I would do, that recovery, because when you're receiving energy healing, it essentially is replacing a workout day. It is taking a lot of work, even though you may be sedentary, you're working on such a deep cellular level, it takes a little bit of time for it to reverberate and reach your physical experience. So you're giving yourself time to rest and recover. And when you heal these blockages in your energetic system, you'll feel it in your physical body. Things will start to release. You'll start to feel your body in ways that may have never been present beforehand. So when you move through the energetic, clear all those three systems, you can really start to work with your physical body. Now, I know some people want to have a physical routine as they go through energy healing. And this is something that I actually do recommend. But what I recommend doing is actually having a stabilizing practice, not going out and running, not lifting heavy weights, because our society is geared towards more, do, accomplishment rather than staying present. And what I found is when I would start incorporating stagnant holds in certain positions based on certain muscles, this allowed my body to build proper alignment. Because when you release those chronic holding patterns, very similar to when you release the psoas, your muscles are going to be a little bit warped. They are going to be warped to those unhealthy patterns that were created to protect your body, to create you from the emotional stress you could not handle, to support you in dealing with either toxic environments, big emotional upheavals, which could be anything, a death, a divorce, a breakup. There's different things that happen throughout your life, which can put a lot of intensity on your body. And when you release these stress patterns, your body can start to actually heal. Those muscles can release, and you're really hitting the root cause. And when you hit that root cause, you can then start to shape and meld your muscles to proper postural alignment. I do not have workout videos created yet. This is something that I know will be created in the future, but where I'm at personally with my own goals and business and growth, it's something that will come later down the road because I want more knowledge around this, especially since most people think, oh, I'll fix one muscle, that's it. That's not how it works. Your body is so divinely interconnected. Something that is hurting your right shoulder could be associated with the fascia in your left foot. It could be associated with the muscles in your eye, the muscles in your tongue, your throat, your chest. There's so many layers to the human body that there isn't one simple answer. It's a journey, and it's literally like learning how to walk again. It's very humbling, and you don't see a child getting up and running. They have to learn to crawl, they have to learn to walk, and then they learn to run again. It takes a little bit of time. Now, luckily, at this point, you are an adult, so you will have greater cognizant awareness of your moving, your ability, so you can be present and really find out what is blocking you, what's going on. And that's why I love the energy healing, because that really allows you to get into your body, listen to your body. And when you receive energy healing and you release these chronic holding patterns, your body will guide you. Your body will inform you on what's going on. Your body wants to talk to you. I cannot tell you how many times I, as a massage therapist and energy healer, had to play the middleman. And I don't think that is healthy. I think that people should learn how to talk to their body, because everybody is so different. Even with the most highly trained expert, it would either take you a lot of money to work with that person to get the result that you want, or they're only going to give you partial information. When you have a consistent practice with yourself in releasing the chronic holding patterns of stress, and then working at rebuilding your physical body and being present with your body, because when you release those chronic holding patterns of stress, what you are doing is you are also releasing your nervous system. And when your nervous system finally releases, there's a rebuilding process that needs to take place, which can be just as scary, if not more at times, because you are cognizantly aware of your surroundings, of your body, and you're listening. And that newfound knowledge and that newfound connection can feel very overwhelming at times. And that's why going slow is something that you want to do. That's something that I recommend doing, is really truly starting off slowly, starting off with mindful, small, little clumps of exercises, very minimal, because when you are that hyper focused and that aware, that takes a lot of work energetically and mentally. And especially if you are someone who's living in the 21st century, you need your body, you need that awareness in other places of your life. And so when you start doing these small, minimal exercises, you start to rebuild your nervous system around proper holding patterns, which then will signal to you throughout your day, oh, you're not sitting properly. Oh, we need to change this. We need to change that. Those hyper focused workouts lead you to greater self awareness, which will allow you to make shifts in your day to day life. And in your day to day life is where a lot of the repetition happens that can either make or break your body. And so the more aware you are of your physical holding patterns, the more you can make positive changes. And so this starts to build on itself. You do the energy healing, which releases your body because it's releasing the chronic holding patterns of stress that can be in your physical or energetic systems. And it also allows you to move through emotions in a way where you're really truly held and seen. It is something that is very powerful work. And when you move through those emotions, you can learn to harness them in a positive way. You can learn to work with them, because emotions is just like having a physical experience. Emotions are the essence and baseline of our human experience. And so to learn how to integrate them rather than reject them is an amazing way to not only rebuild your physical experience, but your mental and emotional experience as well. So when you have your energy healing practice, you have that, and then you couple it with a physical routine that is all about stabilizing your body, building deep knowledge within the muscular system. Because if you've had chronic pain, chronic holding patterns, chronic stress, your body will have formed improper muscles. So while you're healing the energetic, you're going to slowly be reprogramming the physical around the more positive energetic experience, the more positive emotions. You're going to be releasing the toxicity from your body energetically, which will then allow your nervous system to relax on a greater level. It will allow you to be more present in your body physically, which will then teach your body to trust your mind, because we have become so disconnected from the mind body spirit connection. It takes a little bit. It's like learning a new language. And that's very, very important to keep in mind. You are learning something new. Do not be hard on yourself. Go slowly, because when you build proper postural alignment through mindful, I like to call them mindful meditative movements, what this does is it allows you to build greater awareness in your day-to-day life. It allows you to take ownership of your movements and your emotions. And it also allows you to take ownership of your soul's path. That might seem a little bit extreme for some, but when you're out of alignment with your soul, how can you expect your body to not mirror that in some way, shape, or form? So the more you become attuned with your body, with your soul, and that requires moving through those blockages, which can be very deep. Sometimes those blockages might be just a physical repetition movement. Sometimes they might move deeper into emotional, and other times they might move even deeper when it goes into ancestral trauma, ancestral curses, or it might be something that's a collective trauma or a curse that you're working through. And it also might tap into past lives. This is why it's very crucial, especially if you have the latter, to work with the energetic systems, especially starting in the auric layer, because that's where your blueprint is of your energetic body. You heal the energetic body, you recalibrate that, it will naturally support the realignment of your physical experience. So you will have a greater shift in less time. That is something that I found very true, tried and true, because I was doing physical modalities. I tried all of them because I had extreme chronic pain. And yes, I started to move out of it. And in the physical experience, that had to deal with detoxification, helping my body clear all the toxins out, along with releasing chronic tension. And while that helped, I saw that there was extreme emotional issues stored in my body. Anytime I would work on my hips, I'd have a big emotional upheaval. And I asked the question, how can I experience emotions without these upheavals when I work on my physical body? And it wasn't until I started working with the energetics and really honing in on my craft and my skill as a shaman and an energy healer that I realized we need to work with the systems in a specific order in order for our physical body to get the most benefits. And this is where I created my energy healing courses. The one that recalibrates your entire energetic blueprint is the Blueprint of Light. This teaches you how to clear the auric field and then the chakras. I wanted that to be one big program because it is a lot of work and it does take time and commitment, but it's well worth it. Because what I experienced in going through that program was I released woundings from generational trauma, and I saw a beautiful evolution in the relationships that I have personally. I was able to clear out toxic connections from a very toxic relationship that I had been in, because I had absorbed his energy as well as his ex's, and her energy was really hurting my system. And I was able to finally clear that out. I had done cord cutting, I had done all these different things and modalities, and nothing was working. It wasn't until I went into my auric field and cleared that was I truly able to get that out, because we had soul ties. I had had a miscarriage 2 times with this person, so that really scarred me emotionally on different levels, especially when you're bringing in a soul. That can truly affect your body. And also, I allowed that person into my life due to certain woundings that I had. And so, in clearing all that out of my body, I was really allowing that energy to finally leave my system, which was really healing. So, not, and that was the first round. In 1 year, I did 4 rounds of this program so I could fine tune and make it digestible for you guys. So I could have a pattern so that you guys could really gain the most of it, but also so you could have a tool that you can utilize at home at your own pace. And I teach you how to cleanse and clear that. I teach you how to scan your body. I teach you how to use magnets. And I also provide, I believe, 88 energy healing frequencies to support you in receiving healing. You can just lay down, turn on the frequency that you need, and receive the energy healing as if I'm working directly on you. While I was providing massage therapy, I started doing energy healing through group sessions, distant energy healing group sessions. And what I found was I could implement magnet pair therapy on groups. And when I realized is, well, if I can do that distantly, what if I could implement it and impregnate it and imprint it into frequencies? So I use my gifts and my skills to mentally imprint this stuff onto these frequencies. And I found that they were just as effective as using magnets directly on the body. So this creation allows you to cleanse and clear stagnant emotions that are not yours. And it allows you to take ownership of the emotions that are yours. It allows you to cleanse and clear traumas from past lives, from generational trauma, from toxic relationships, abusive relationships. Some of you may have had sexual trauma. There's a lot of things where, or even physical trauma. There's a lot of things that when it happens to your physical body, it will affect your energetic body as well. And usually when we cannot process what's happened to us physically, it will be transferred and shared with the different energetic systems of the body. So it's not all impacting the physical experience. So when you do the blueprint of light, what you are doing is you are recalibrating, you're cleansing and clearing your energetic blueprint in your aura, and then you are realigning, cleansing and clearing the chakra systems of the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And I teach you how to do that. And then you have that course to use whenever you feel called to. Like I shared a little bit earlier, I did it 4 times in 1 year. And I calculated how much that would cost if you were to work one-on-one with me 4 times in 1 year. That would require almost, I believe, it was 6 figures worth of income. And it would also require your time and commitment. That's a lot, which is why I created a course. So you can go on your own time. You can implement it in your own schedule. Because when I was a massage therapist, what I saw was the biggest issues people couldn't commit was due to time. And that's why I shifted my massage into in-home business. And even with the in-home business, people were traveling, people were moving. There was a lot of different things, which is why I realized if you create these energy healing frequencies, they can do it at the end of the day. They can do it while they're traveling. They can literally do it anywhere. So it really then becomes a question of how committed and how deep do you want to do your work. It simply becomes up to you, which in taking that ownership and empowering yourself like that in itself helps with your alignment. That helps with your healing. It is very powerful. And the magnet pair therapy, energy healing frequencies, is something that has changed my life, because not only did it help me move and it created a better relationships for me, it allowed me to clear out karmic ties to the feminine wound. It allowed me to disassociate from anger. It also helped me deepen my practice as a shaman and energy healer. And it also allowed me to quit cigarettes. I've quit drinking and I've quit coffee. These are all things that are helping me align with my energy that I had as a child. And that's one thing I always questioned was, would I ever be able to return to that true essence of me. And I find it more and more every single day. And this mainly happened from the blueprint of light, and then the maintenance came from doing the other programs. And not only that, but I also found that as a neurodivergent, I don't get anxiety. I can be in social settings. I'm not taking on other people's emotions or energy. And this is stuff that I never thought possible. And for me, I'm doing this without any sort of prescribed medication. Now, do I believe in incorporating medical practices? Yes, it depends on the person. And especially when it comes to emergency issues, I do believe that you should always honor your body. If there is something that's going on, you should always seek medical advice from a professional. I'm an energy healer. I'm not a practicing doctor. This energetic work supports you in realigning your body. It is not a cure, and it works differently for everybody else. It supports you in creating better homeostasis within your body. So when you have greater homeostasis and greater alignment and greater flow, things naturally tend to work in harmony with each other. And I just think of, you've been, an example of this is if you've been in a group or you've worked with people and you're in harmony, things flow, it's enjoyable. Think about it when you've been in groups where they're not in harmony, where there's complete and utter dysregulation. Just think about what that does to your body. Just take a moment and just tap into your body. What is the difference? I know for myself, there's a huge difference between contraction and relaxation. And once you move through the energetic bodies and have that energy flowing and moving and working for you rather than against you, that's when you could really start implementing better practices physically. And I also have a physical support course, which supports releasing the physical body. And then I have an emotional and pathogen energy healing course that is based on the biomagnetism training that I received. And I broke them up into different courses so people could pick and choose. I understand that people are on different tracks when it comes to their healing journey. I know that some people may just need the physical support course, especially getting back to the essence of this talk and this video, which had to deal with utilizing a energy healing practice to help with recovery, help with physical release, and then support you in having greater body awareness when you do your workouts, so you can get more from those workouts, even if you're doing less. I found over the last 2 years that less is more, and I could get amazing results from doing less. It takes a little bit of reprogramming, especially around our nervous systems, because we've been taught to do. And in this course, it has a psoas release. It has energy healing frequencies that cater to the muscle placements in the body, the joints, some miscellaneous anxiety points, as well as nervous system regulation. So that is something that you could utilize. And maybe that for some of you is the jump off point. I know for myself, the physical body was an invitation to go deeper. I was dealing with a lot of energetic blockages. I also want to say I'm an energy healer, so I believe it was a part of my process to create these energy healing programs and courses for you, because my deepest core wish is to provide knowledge that will help people be their own best self-healer and self-healing advocate. And it is a beautiful tool for preventative measures, just to support longevity in your body. Again, not a cure, not a quick fix. I am not a doctor. I just want to preface that. I am someone who is teaching for educational values and inspirational values. And I wanted to provide this as information, because some of you might take this information and utilize different practices in the place of energy healing. What I found for myself, and I'm someone who has tried a lot of different practices. is until you release the chronic holding patterns of stress, which the magnet paratherapy frequencies do, as well as using physical magnets, that actually releases the chronic stress, the chronic loop, so you can actually move forward and get better results from the other practices that you have. It's a good segue into bringing connection back to the mind, body, and spirit. And I know that we are all very different. And when it comes to healing your physical body, taking time to recover is a must. There's no getting around that. So, to give you a baseline on where to start, what I would do is I would look at your routine. Do you have a recovery routine that will support you in releasing your muscles that you can do weekly or bi-weekly? And then do you have a workout routine that is working for you or against you? You have to be really honest here. And that's why the recovery restoration days are crucial, because when you start to heal your muscles and release them, you will start to see what movements or what everyday habits you have created are actually hurting you versus helping you. Once you know what's hurting you, you can start making small changes each week to support you. And I will be posting down the road exercises that have helped me, that have supported me. There are some other videos on my YouTube channel at this time. You can explore those. There are many different resources out there that can get you started. Two resources that I recommend is the Foot Collective, because when you're healing your body, starting with your feet and working your way up is actually extremely beneficial, because when you're grounded in your feet, it will make a difference in how you literally move through the world. The second program that I recommend is the Knees Over Toes guy. Ben Patrick is amazing. He is someone that really resonated with me while I was doing when I would still work out at a gym. I found that I was doing these weird things, and I thought I was off because it wasn't what we were taught. But his information and the way he teaches it is absolutely phenomenal. I also recommend these two programs and these two platforms because they will open up your mind to implementing different styles of working out, implementing different ways. I also recommend isometric stretching or some type of mobility practice that really is super important, because you want to have movement throughout your whole life. You want to be able to move. And when people stop moving, their joints harden, their body becomes resistant to change in a way. And that right there is a big example of why working through emotions is very crucial. And the mobility will help you to trust your body. It will help you to strengthen your body where it's weakened. So that's something that you can look up. The other modality there's a few other modalities, and the one that I found helpful was cranial sacral, that works on a very deep somatic level. And there's a cranial sacral point that I have in my physical support course, because I would use some cranial sacral holding patterns in my massage therapy practice, because when you release the nervous system, the muscles then are more palpable and more supple, which means there's less resistance, which means you can have better results, either if you're doing massage therapy or any type of physical therapy, or if you're simply just working on yourself, which again is why I really recommend having some form of a recovery process before you get into physical routines that will start supporting your shift and change. I have found that there's no difference between the mind and the body. So having a practice that works on your mind and your energy and your emotions will greatly support your physical routines as well, because you could be physically active, you could be crushing it at the gym, but you could be killing your body at the same time. I know I did that with myself. And when I was training as a professional boxer, it was one of those moments when I realized you could be doing quote unquote everything right on the surface, but underneath there could be a lot wrong. And as I continued my journey of being a professional boxer, I remember my coach telling me I was like a 50-year-old in a 20-year-old's body. And it really showed me how locked up my body was. I was diagnosed with scoliosis at the age of 13, so I did have that. And I ended up stopping boxing because I saw that it wasn't helping my soul. I was still angry. I originally had started to um, stop pain. I had gone through a breakup and it was just a release. And this is where physical exercise is great, but it also can be a way to jump over dealing with emotional stuff. And the more I box, the more I realize I have a lot of emotional stuff I need to deal with. I'm going to step away from this. And a few months later, I went to a chiropractor and they're like, your body's so messed up, you're going to need surgery. They did a scan, everything was so compacted and compressed. And I was like, you know what? I know this has to do with the muscles. I can do this. And this was before I was a massage therapist. So the fact that I fell into that practice and that work seems very fitting, especially as it has the knowledge that I've gained from my practice and working on people has not only supported my health and wellness, but it's something that I can now support other people through my teachings. So this video is just to help you gain an understanding around the why of physical pain. If you want routines and stuff, I will be posting some later, but there's a whole world of YouTube out there that you can explore. But I really want to drive this home. Have some form of release when it comes to your self-care practice. I know for myself, I have routines that are in place for when I've had stressful days, when I've been sedentary, when I've had a big emotional upheaval. And my practice has become more of a fluid or in a managing phase. I've already gone through the blueprint of light. I've really balanced out my meridians. For a year, I worked with the seasons and now I've implemented that flow into my life. And now I'm really getting into a physical routine that supports me. I was doing physical practices in correlation with the energy healing, but now I really get to work on my physical recalibration because my energetic blueprint has been rewired. And that took me about a year and a half to do in its entirety. Everyone's different. Everyone's on their own journey. But if you are someone who's dealing with chronic pain, that's something that I would recommend. Everybody is so different. I created the courses so they're available to you so you can purchase the ones that you need. But when you are healing, it's crucial that you have some sort of rest and recovery that allows you to release the stress, work through the stress, especially if it's emotional, and allow you some nervous system regulation. Because when you do that, your body can go into a state of rest and recovery. It's not in fight or flight. And if your body does not come out of fight or flight, that fight or flight will stay persistent, which will corrupt your physical movement, which then will create issues down the road, especially if you're someone who works out continuously, rigorously, and regularly without some sort of nervous system regulation in correlation with this. And if you're someone who wants to keep up your everyday working out schedule, at the end of the day, have a nervous system regulation practice. That's why I recommend getting the physical support course. You can just simply, before you go to bed, sleep, and put on the healing frequency that you need, or you can do it as part of your morning meditation. Play it in the background, do your journaling, do your, you can put it on, listen to your talks or whatever it is. I found that it's such a beautiful practice that connects into every other modality, and it can be used in correlation with a lot of different modalities. And when you reduce the chronic stress patterns in your body, you are more amped to sit and be more present with your other practices, which means you will get more out of life, not just from your workouts, but from your relationships, from your self-care practices. This is such a game changer. I want to thank you for watching this video. It really warms my heart that people are wanting to learn more about their body or wanting to take charge of their health and wellness. And if you liked my content, please share with somebody else who may benefit from this. And if you'd like to learn more or stay updated on everything that I'm sharing, you can subscribe to my channel. But I'm wishing you all the best. And I hope that this information was helpful to you on your health and wellness journey.